It's your boy, Brandon Correia, aka Master of None, aka E.F. Hutton of Entertainment, and it has been a very, very long time since I've done that intro. Very long time, maybe coming up on like 2 years now, and then a bigger gap even between that. I've been really inconsistent, and I apologize for that. For the minimal followers that I accumulated on my other channel. So if you're joining me here today, this is the new channel, the Brandon Correia Network. My old channel was the Correia Chronicles, which covered trailer reactions, movie reviews, ball talks, hip-hop album breakdowns, tech unboxing, just all that, all the fun stuff, okay? All the fun stuff in life, right? And there were many reasons I actually stopped posting so consistently, and that's obviously what this video is for, is just to kind of explain what I've been doing the last like kind of 4 years since like I really started posting like consistently on YouTube, and then kind of like took that break, and then kind of had like that a lot of the inconsistency. So just what I've been doing, where I'm at right now, and kind of what I want to be doing going forward with my new channel. So yeah, let's get into it. So obviously, giving a little history lesson. Like I said, this is my first YouTube channel. I started the Correia Chronicles a while ago in like 2015, but I was still in university in like my third year. Coming close to the end, so I was focused on that obviously, so I wasn't posting consistently then. And it was just here and there, and I graduated 2017, moved out, and that's when I started posting a lot on the Correia Chronicles. And stuff just came up in mine and my fiance's life, because when I moved out of my mom's house, I moved in with her. I'm still with her. That's my girl. That's my ride or die. Love her to death. And at the time, stuff started coming up. Like we had to. I don't want to get too obviously into everything, but stuff came up. We had to kind of get booted out, or not booted out. We got booted out of our apartment because the landlord needed it for her own personal use. I'm putting it out there. Till this day, I always bring it up. That was one of my favorite places that we've lived. Just the layout of the backyard. It was just a good size for us. It was just a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom. Not anything too big at all, but it was just really nice. I love that place. And again, if you just go back to the Correia Chronicles YouTube channel, there was a period in time where like obviously I kind of stepped up my game from just like my laptop camera, and actually started using a better setup. And you see that like when I was posting consistently, it was there, and I just loved the setup there that I had there, and just outside of my filming setup, I loved that place. So we got booted out of there, no fault of our own, no kind of choice of our own, and that kind of just life just started happening. You know what I mean? Or like life has always been happening, but there was just a lot of things that just started snowballing a lot after that point. And one of the things that came up that wasn't a negative, but one of the biggest things that popped up change-wise that kind of halted me recording, and us having to obviously think differently. Not only were we like in the middle of trying to find a new place, like which we ended up finding, but we found out that we were having a baby. I was going to be a dad, so that kind of shifted my mind, and obviously YouTube and filming wasn't like at the forefront anymore, and I just had to like think about just different things and just move a little differently. So we found out about that. So I was probably posting consistently a lot from like 2017 to when we probably found out we were getting like booted out. So that would have been the beginning of 2018. Moving to the middle of 2018, we found out we're having a baby, and I'm at my job trying to apply for a better position, a position that I thought was more suitable for me. They decided to not go with me even though I was more qualified than everybody on that side of the floor. I don't even want to get into that because that will just, you know what I mean, that'll just trigger me, and I don't want to get into that. This is a good video. We're starting anew. This is a new channel. They decided not to give me the job, and it really seemed like this position, there was nowhere to go. They even made that clear in the starting interview because of the department that we were in, that what we looked over, the boss, like the two managers over me, weren't going anywhere anytime soon, and the only way for me to move up into their position is if they leave or somehow they got fired or quit, but that wasn't happening anytime soon. So they blatantly said in the starting interview, there's nowhere to kind of move up in this. So that's why I kind of looked in a different department at that company. They chose not to go with me, whatever. So I started thinking differently, not only because that happened, and I really feel like I'm not the greatest at interviews, but that particular interview, because I knew about the baby coming, and because like I knew I was qualified and I really wanted that job, I honestly felt like I killed that interview. Barry Bonds out the park, you know what I mean? Here's another hit, Barry Bonds. But no, so I started thinking differently because of that, and also because the baby was on the way. So I just started thinking, obviously, about my YouTube channel, and I just started thinking about what I'm more passionate about. And obviously, not only what I'm passionate about, but what could really kind of progress me forward. So, because at this point I was already used to and comfortable being in front of a camera, filming YouTube videos for like a long time at that point. Because remember, I told you I started in 2015. I've just been used to being in front of the cameras. I wasn't at first, and that was one thing that I kind of pat myself on the back for, was kind of going from someone that like did not want to be on camera at all to someone that's very comfortable in front of camera. So I basically took this kind of experience of these few years, and I was like, what am I passionate about that I think I could translate and progress further, and think that I could maybe do. So I can't remember exactly what it was, but something in me was like, what if you tried acting? Crazy idea, I know, right? So I started basically just looking into just Googling what's shooting in Toronto, apply for commercial. I started going on sites like eBoss and just random sites that would post just like roles in random commercials, like McDonald's commercials or whatever, Nordstrom commercials they were just posting for like anyone that could just apply, and they would submit photos. You know what I mean? You'd have to just you would just have to submit photos of yourself. They potentially would call you back. But I basically started off with that, kind of just applying on that side blindly. And then something in me made me even like try and book a meeting with the Toronto Film School. And I actually went, like I remember going like on my lunch break while I was at this company. And I think I even came back from lunch like a little late because I went to the Toronto Film School to have this meeting, like about possibly like attending. And so that was the next step. I even tried that, and at the time, because like the baby was on the way and I didn't really know what I was doing, for me, because I just had recently graduated, for me to just hop back into school without barely working that much, it didn't seem to make sense to me. So I continued to apply to just eBoss stuff, random just commercials, and randomly me and my wife actually got a reply to a BuzzFeed commercial, and that was the very first commercial that we did. And it wasn't really like a commercial where I needed to act, but it was more like an interview on our living habits, on who leaves lights on more than the other, and just about energy consumption, basically. It was a BuzzFeed thing about couples living together and energy consumption. So that was the very first thing that I did, and we booked. And after that point, obviously being on set, being there, like it felt good to be there, and I was just like, maybe like, what if this is something that I really want to do? So I continued to apply. I didn't really get anything else at that point, but I knew something in me kind of clicked and was like, you know what, I do want to take this a bit further. So I started researching like, what steps do I need to take next? And obviously one of the biggest things that came up was try and find an agent. And obviously if you don't have a lot of materials to work with, it's hard to get an agent. Like if you don't have any kind of demo reel, any kind of just like student films or just kind of like skits that you filmed with a camera that I'm recording on right now, it's hard to get an agent. But for some reason, like I just saw that that was a step, and I Googled reputable agents in Toronto. The ACTRA agents directory came up. ACTRA is obviously the union in Canada. So the agents on this list are obviously, you know what I mean, reputable, and you know what I mean, they have to, because they're part of ACTRA, they have to move on an ethical manner, like in an ethical manner. So I honestly just went to the list and I started blindly applying with like 2 headshots. They weren't even great headshots, right? Like it was honestly like black and white. It was kind of zoomed in from like here. It was like not, I can't remember exactly, but it was like really kind of close, not well lit at all. And I was just submitting to every agency on the list. Didn't hear anything. And something in me was like, you know what, some time went by, I started applying still for gigs on eBoss while I was still working at the time, and I was hearing nothing. And then me and my wife actually had to do a photo shoot with her aunt, which was who's a photographer, and because she knew, or we told her that I was trying to like start to get into this, she had offered to take photos of me like for headshots, for potential headshots. And we took photos, so basically I was able to get like some new headshots. And at that point I started again, I went back to the agency directory list and I started applying. Every single agent on that list. Boom, 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 boom. And one actually messaged me, one emailed me, I lied. 2 emailed me back, but one emailed me back to actually set up a meeting, which I went in, did the meeting, and the other one emailed me. I emailed back and then I heard nothing, so I don't know if they maybe kind of changed their mind. But the agency that I went and I had the meeting with, I went in, I did a cold read, and because I didn't have any demo reels or anything, she just had to see what I could do, basically. And I swear, I'm telling you, there was a point where she was going to say no and be like, you know what, like, I like your look. Because obviously, like, I'm not trying to boost myself, but I have a good look, I have a unique look. So I swear, I'm telling you, there was a point where she was going to be like, I like your look, but like you need work, you know what I mean? Try and get some training and then maybe come back and try again and we'll see and we'll test it out. And then she was like, you know what? Try and do the script again. Went over it a little bit. We did it one more time and she's like, you know what? Let's go with it. I want to sign you. So I actually got an agent, and that was, you know what I mean, reputable ACTRA agent, and you know what I mean, that was like, okay, like next step in me acting. So this was another part and another time that with me finding out about the baby, us just moving in and getting the house set, me getting an agent to try and pursue this passion, this career, and then on top of that, me making the decision soon after that, that I was going to quit, because obviously they, like I said earlier in the video, they had told me, my manager told me that there was nowhere to go in that company. I tried for a different department, they said no. So it didn't seem like there was anywhere for me to go in that company anymore, so I had to make a decision. I ended up quitting. I don't regret it at all. I ended up going to Europe. I went to Amsterdam for a week by myself, and then I met up with my wife while she was, you know what I mean, she was pregnant early on in the pregnancy, but I met her in Barcelona, and we did a trip like around Spain, and we ended up in Portugal and then flew home. So it was a nice trip that we took. I always wanted to go to Europe, so I don't regret quitting to have that time, to take that time, especially because there was nowhere to go in that company. And then on top of that, I was hopefully starting my acting career with this agent. And soon after I came back from Europe, I was getting auditions. I remember the show Designated Survivor with Kiefer Sutherland. I actually had an audition for that like early, like right off the bat. I didn't land it, but I got an audition for it. And so ever since that point, which would have been the end of 2018, I have actually been acting. I'm trying to progress on that front. So that's me finding out I was having a baby and me deciding to actually act, which when I was making videos before, that wasn't a thing in my life at all. When I was consistently making videos, that wasn't a part of like my life at all. So now going forward, me hopefully trying to put more content out there and get back into my groove. That's a part of my life now, so I'm hoping to obviously share parts of that journey with with this community and with the audience as well. You know what I mean? There'll be clips like just behind the scenes, like things, just me in my trailer kind of thing. Just things like that. Just things on my journey, like when I book and me auditioning, like while I'm on set, and just things like that. Like so, that's just going to be a part of this channel, the Brandon Correia Network. That's now up and running. And also when I'm, even though like, yeah, I always could have found time to kind of record, but when we moved into the place after we had got kicked out of my favorite place, I was having a hard time setting up my, you know what I mean, my backdrop stuff that like I feel like really just gives me the kind of like spice and energy that I need to want to go and record. Like just having like a sick backdrop and having these guys, my favorite things, my superheroes, my Infinity Gauntlet, you know what I mean? Like just seeing this stuff behind me kind of spices me. So when I was having a hard time kind of setting it up because like because of the way the space was, it was hard just getting things to even stick onto the wall. It was a hassle, so it really was just hard to kind of get going in that space. And then soon after that, me and my wife actually had to move back in with her parents, and it kind of worked out because it was literally right before the pandemic hit, and we kind of made that decision because we were actually living with my wife's cousin who was living in the basement, so she was obviously helping us with rent. So she had to move back home to Ottawa, and we had to make the decision that we were just going to go move back in with her parents and save money. And it kind of worked out because, like I said, pandemic hit. We all know how that was. So it worked out that we actually had the help and that we didn't have to pay that money while obviously work was like unsure and just the world was unsure. So me being in that setting, it was hard for me to also record. The very last video on the Cry Chronicles, if you go check it out, was I think a Wonder Woman trailer reaction. The Wonder Woman 1984 trailer reaction. I can't exactly remember when that movie came out, like what year, but I want to say 2020? I can't remember. End of 2020, I can't even remember. But if you notice, in that trailer reaction, I had to talk like really, really quietly because of, again, the space that we were in. As much as, if you've seen that video, I was able to get my paintings hung, my pillars were in there with my Funkos, but because of the space and because we had to move in with her parents, we had a shrunk in less space. And at this point, my son had been born. So he was in like the room, like literally like around the corner. So like I couldn't be loud. If something sick popped off in the trailer and I was like, ooh, waking him up, he's crying and it's over. Hearing him crying in the background and it's done. So now that me and my wife have finally moved out, we have our own place, plenty of space for kind of everybody. I'm able to have my dedicated recording studio space with, you know what I mean, nothing has to be moved, everything's set, which I've been waiting for and looking forward to for a long time, ever since I had it in my first place, my first setup, my favorite setup. But I'm starting to love this setup because, like I said, it's a dedicated space, nothing could be touched. Not can be touched, but nothing like will be moved or has to be kind of like augmented or like I have to talk quieter because someone's around the corner. It's just everything is kind of set up the way that I like it. So yeah, now that is the case with the Brandon Correia Network, I've decided to make, so that was basically just like the history lesson on kind of where I've been the last 4 years since I've been posting consistently. And last update, which is a recent history update, I actually had a second son, which is why I'm now, and this is like a couple weeks ago. So I have two boys. Can you believe that? 2 boys. So with this coming out, this is after that point. So that was another thing that kind of made me stall me recording, because we've been in this new place where we're at. Because we've been in this new place where we're at for a few months now, but because of my wife being pregnant, my new son coming, I've had to delay the start of this. So with him being born, us kind of getting used to stuff, I've decided it was finally time to get back into making content. So that is the history lesson on where I've been and how I've gotten to this point and why I think I'm now ready to continue to go forward. So now I'm just going to discuss what this new channel is, what my vision for this new channel is, what content you guys as like my audience and community should kind of expect from this new channel. Obviously it's going to take time to grow, and I'm refining things. So as you notice, it says the Brandon Correia Network, and it's different from the Correia Chronicles because obviously, like, and I'm not trying to be like super pretentious or like just toot my own horn, but the reason why I wanted to call it the Brandon Correia Network is because I'm hoping that under this banner there will be more than just the niche things that I love to talk about and do, right? So on the Correia Chronicles, like I said, I did all that fun stuff, trailer reactions, movie reviews, Marvel movie reviews, you know what I mean, the big blockbuster movie reviews. And that's great. And I'm obviously like, that's going to be the bread and butter of this channel still for sure too. But like I said, the reason why I wanted to call it a network is because I'm hoping that there will be other things under the banner. And not only video format things like this or like trailer reactions, but one of the things to come soon is, so let me try and break down what obviously other things that you should kind of not expect, but that I'm hoping to kind of get onto the channel. So obviously, like I said, there's still going to be trailer reactions. The next video right after this is going to be the She-Hulk trailer reaction. It's just kind of timing that lined up. So it'll be the She-Hulk trailer reaction, and I am going to see Top Gun next week, so expect like a movie review for that in the near future. And also Obi-Wan. The Obi-Wan series drops the same weekend as Top Gun, 2 episodes. So I'm going to be able to go over 2 episodes, so expect that soon. But one of the big things to come soon that I'm going to be working on soon after I record this is actually the Brandon Correia podcast, which will in video form be available on YouTube, but will also be available in audio form on multiple platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and that will actually involve me and one of my good friends of more than like half my life, Damar. He's going to be my co-host. As much as it's called the Brandon Correia podcast, he is going to be my right hand, not even right hand man. Like this, he's basically like my partner in this. He's going to be helping me grow this and try and just teach me things that he's learned from his broadcasting stuff. Like, so me and him are really hoping to grow that together. But that will be on here. But I'm also hoping to start a relationship podcast with my wife. So that will be completely left field of this kind of stuff, like my superhero anime bag. So that will be something different. I'm also hoping to have, like, it's a thought, but I'm also, and I don't know if people watch this, how many people will watch this at the time, but hopefully somehow people pick onto it and they'll be able to leave feedback. But I was also thinking about putting on, obviously with gaming growing so much and that industry just booming, adding on streams that I've done, maybe some of my boys have done, or just, yeah, things like that. So like me and my boys play 2K, so like just putting up like an hour and a half of just us playing 2K, like 5v5 in the rec or Pro-Am, just like us, you know what I mean, just kicking it, just in the party, the Xbox party, just playing 2K. And just have a variety of different games and game streams on the channel, along with the podcast, along with the short coverage of like the trailer reactions and movie reviews and stuff like that. And obviously, like I'm hoping that like if there's people that like, obviously if I could grow this channel and this network, that there's people that like down the line want to start a podcast on like, I don't know, corn. You know what I mean? But they know how to like, they've thought about and they know how they could grow their audience talking about corn, but they don't want to build a community, but they just want to have their corn podcast on the Brandon Correia Network to like host and help them like gain followers. Like that's kind of like where I'm at and where I'm thinking with it being a network and just having a plethora and multiple things kind of under my umbrella. And also, I can't believe I forgot to mention, but what I'm also hoping to add to the channel is vlogs of just like kind of everyday stuff of just like maybe me and my family. Well, not really that, but more like if I'm going to see a movie, like a big movie on an opening weekend, just kind of vlogging what I'm doing that night. Maybe some of my thoughts going into the movie, some of my boys' thoughts that I'm going to see the movies with. Just stuff like that. Just vlogging stuff of like when behind the scenes stuff of like prep work for the pod and stuff relating to that. And also, like I mentioned, because I am acting now, like I'm hoping to like add kind of that kind of vlog element too, of like maybe me on set. Obviously I won't be able to expose too much, but just me and my trailer, just things that I'm doing in the day, how I'm dealing with stuff. Obviously I'm going to be updating like you, this audience, on like things that I book, maybe auditions that I have. So yeah, that me and my acting, the acting part of my life is actually going to be incorporated into here a lot, because there's even going to be, I'm probably even going to start to do videos on here where like I maybe just explain my experiences so far in the industry, things that I'm looking forward to learning, just content relating to that part of my life. So again, that's kind of, as much as, yeah, like, you know what I mean, like I would love to play any of these characters like on screen, but yeah, that's kind of like an overall vision that I have for this new channel, this network. And obviously I'm hoping as new ideas come and spawn, and you know what I mean, maybe down the line, like somehow, like my brother-in-law is an aspiring director, so who knows, like maybe I might have certain skits with the boys that I might get him to just do for us, and I might put it on here like down the line. Who knows what I'll kind of come up with on this, but those first couple things that I was talking about is kind of where I'm at originally, or where I'm at to start, and kind of what I'm thinking will be like the starting content that will be on here. For sure, expect the podcast. The podcast will be on here very soon. Probably next weekend, end of May, if not early June. First podcast dropping. Stay tuned. I'm telling you, you guys will not want to miss that podcast. Not only is it just because it's the beginning podcast, but I'm telling you, with regards to all that good stuff, the movies, we're going to be talking about the Kendrick album, playoff overview, like me and my boy DeMar, us going back and forth on these topics is money. So you're going to want to tune in. Make sure you watch the She-Hulk, She-Hulk trailer reaction video. And yeah, I think that's it. I think I covered everything. This video might have been a little lengthier than I had hoped for, but I really wanted to kind of get out everything and just start from new, let the audience know. And I know, like I said, I didn't have that many subscribers, but for the people that will kind of follow me over here, this was just me explaining why I haven't been posting that much and why I'm hoping to be posting more, and just why the new channel name with the rebrand and what I'm thinking. And I'm glad to have you guys with me. Thank you for listening. I'm going to end the video here because I've already been long talking too much, but thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel. You will not not be disappointed. Great content coming here. I promise, I promise, I promise. Subscribe here. Hit the like button on this video, on the She-Hulk video, on the podcast video to come. Like, and subscribe. I'm telling you, you will not want to miss the content coming to this channel. Appreciate y'all. See y'all next time.